Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the HaChaim in the Sefer HaMitzvos, and we find ourselves still in Mitzvahs Loisase, the negative commandment, Kuf Lamed Beis 132, where he is describing the prohibition of Niddah, of a woman who ends up having relations with her husband, or a husband having relations with his wife, when his wife went through her menstruation cycle, a menstrual cycle, and did not yet go to the mikveh to purify herself. And the HaChaim today is going to say some very charif, very sharp words about those that are not careful with the mitzvah of going to the mikveh after her period. The first thing that a person must know, all of the punishments that are spoken about in our holy Torah, and in the words of our sages, when it speaks about over there a person who transgresses the prohibition of illicit relations, hugam al isar niddah, all of those punishments apply to the man and the woman who end up violating the laws of niddah. Each, the man and the woman, are both obligated to get cut off in this world and the next, as a result of having relations while the woman is in Niddah. Again, remind ourselves, it doesn't mean that she has passed her menstrual cycle. She could have passed the cycle and therefore she no longer has dam, she no longer has blood inside of her anymore. Nevertheless, if she did not go to the mikveh yet, so she's still in a state of impurity. Someone who does this knowingly, and they do it with knowingness in their heart, intentionally, who Rasha Gamor, says the Chavetz Chaim, such a person is a complete Rasha, a totally wicked person, that he has relations with a woman who is not yet to go to the mikveh. Such a person cannot testify on legal things in the Jewish courts, and he can't take a shavua, cannot take a vow that will be believed. V'nikra Paishei Yisrael B'gufa, he's called a Paishei Yisrael. He's called from amongst the people that are the sinners of the Jewish people, B'gufa, with their bodies. And such a person has a very bad name amongst Klal Yisrael. Avozeh, because of this, V'dinoi, and the punishment of those who are sinners with their body. That's what he used his body over here to sin. Nifsak. What is the punishment over there? That he is going to be a person that is, the psak is, which means the halach is going to be, the mishyesh loyroiv avonos, if somebody has a majority of sins, ubetoichav. Now this is all, he's quoting the Gemara over here, that's speaking about the judgment that a person will receive on Rosh Hashanah. So he says like this, if a person has roiv avonos, the majority of his actions are sins, and amongst the pekalach, the package of sins that he has, you can find the sin of a man or a woman being together with each other when she's in Niddah. They'll have to be judged in Gehenim, that very hot world down there, for 12 months. And afterwards the body is going to be destroyed. And the neshama, the soul, is going to be burned up in the smithereens. And the wind will then come in and blow the ashes of this person and the dust of this person underneath the feet of the tzaddikim, and he will be trampled upon constantly. Whatever exactly this means, these are mystical ideas about what is going to take place in Gehenim. And the Chavetz Chaim, who was a very practical man of halacha, who was a very much down to earth in this world, he's quoting over here words, mystical words that you could find in the Gemara, in the Zohar and the like, to explain what's going to be. Who could imagine the tremendous suffering and the pain that both this man and this woman are going to have to bear in Gehenim? Even if they only did it one time, the kol shikenim hufkar chasram, and all the more so if it's something that's hefker, that which means that it's done constantly. God forbid, be'einayim ovain zeh chamor. In their eyes, this sin needs to be very strong. La'avor alav kama pa'amim, which means is that if this sin has become something that's in their eyes that is nothing, and they transgress it a number of times, says the Chavetz Chaim, how terrible is it going to be? Chas v'chalila, the punishments that this man and this woman will incur in the world to come. Now, once again, we mentioned that in our generation, this is not a halacha that is known so well, unfortunately. And the majority of the Jewish people today that are not keeping Torah mitzvahs, they are known as a tinoik shenishba. They are like a child that was captured by the goyim when they were an infant. They were raised by the non-Jewish world. They have no idea what it means to be a Jew, mitzvahs, Torah, holiness, sanctity. They have no idea. And therefore, if the average American Jew, secular Jew in the world is not going to the mikvah, they are not going to be held accountable like the way that the Chavetz Chaim is talking about. He's referring to the people that should know better. He's referring to the people that they have a yediyah, they have a background in Yiddishkeit. They know that there's a mitzvah out there that's called Niddah. They know there's a mitzvah that's called Taharas HaMishpacha, family purity. They know that there's a mikveh in their town. They heard about their friends who go there. They know that their friends went there. They know their mother went there, so on and so forth. And therefore, says the Chavetz Chaim, how careful a person has to be to make sure that they do everything in their ability to keep this mitzvah in the right way. We still have more to speak about, and Be'ez Hashem, we will talk about that next week. Have a wonderful Shabbos.